go ahead and subscribe to my channel right now because you're gonna love it here. Okay, you're gonna love it. Just subscribe right now. What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your Couture, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys my story on how I became an entrepreneur. This video is not to say like, oh I made it, oh no, it's nothing like that. I know that where I am now is just as important as where I'm going. I still have very far to go to achieving all of my goals, but I'm making this video because I know that there are people out there who just want to get started, and I hope that this video is, you know, some inspiration for you guys. I don't want to be that person who comes and makes a video when they're $200,000 down the road and they're like, oh yeah, you know, basically I quit my job and now I'm making $300,000 a year, $200,000 a year, and you know, basically happened all overnight. Like, no, that's not how my story goes. So yeah, let's just get into this video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and yeah, let's go. Before I start this video, I'm gonna be doing my makeup while I'm talking to you guys, but I do want to let you guys know what's in the cup. In the Boss Lady mug today is my TEAMI Blend Skinny Tea. It's part of the 30-day detox. If you guys want this, you guys are free to use my promo code, which is 25K. I will leave the links to everything pertaining the teas in the description box, okay? So basically, the things that I do now, I have wanted to do since I was a kid. Like literally since I was a kid. I just kind of always second guessed myself and doubted myself, I guess. So yeah, it took a little time, but then again, it's like it took a little time, but I do feel like everything happened, you know, according to God's timing. So, you know, I'm not too mad. So what I do now, I have a hair company, I have a fitness line, I am a YouTuber, I am an influencer, and yeah, basically I have all these different streams of income. That's a whole different video though, so if you guys want me to do that video, I could do that as well. I did go to college. I dropped out of college twice. After my freshman year at college, I was just like, maybe school's not for me, because you know I was getting bad grades, and I'm just like, you know, maybe school is just not for me, but really school is for me. I just wasn't focused. Like, I just was not focused that year. So I left my sophomore year, and then I got a job as a CNA, and then I was just like, yeah, no, wiping butts is just not for me. No shade to any CNAs, because they are very, very important people. I hate that people shade CNAs, because one day we're all gonna need a CNA, Lord willing, if we even make it to be that old. So I hate people shade CNAs. It just was not for me. I'm big on doing what you feel like your calling is, okay? So going through this story, I've done a lot of different things, okay? So I'm just a big, like, you know, do what you're passionate about and it'll all come together. Just listen to the story. So I did that, and I was just like, no, like not really what I want to do. So then I was like, I'm going back to school. So the following year I went back to school. I mean, I was getting straight A's. I was so focused. I'm like, I'm doing, you know, I was doing great. 2015 I met my boyfriend that I have now. So you know, we were dating and stuff, and we were, you know, taking trips everywhere. And so school was about to start back up in August for my senior year. We went to Dominican Republic. We went to Dominican Republic in July. And then I went to Vegas with my friends that year in August. So on the way to Vegas, I'm like, yo, like, I don't feel good. Long story short, passed out on the airplane. That's a whole other story time. Passed out on the airplane. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what is wrong with me? Like, people were like, are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? I'm like, no, there's no way that I'm pregnant. You know, like, I'm just, no, like, I'm not pregnant. Yeah, right. So, you know, had a great time in Vegas. I get back to school in August, and at this time I was working for another company, and that's the company that I worked from. I worked for that company from 2015 to 2020, okay? So I'm working for that company, so I was going home on the weekends. I was living at school, going home on the weekends to, you know, to work, to get money. And that one weekend, school had started back up. I was at school. It was the weekend, and I went home, and I was at work, and I'm like, yo, I feel like so weird. Like, I feel so funny, and I just couldn't figure out, you know, what it was. So my friends are like, girl, you need to go get a pregnancy test. Like, is your period late? At that point, I was living so wild and carefree. I wasn't even like tracking my period, just like irresponsible. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get a pregnancy test. I waited until I got all the way to school to take the test. And when I took the test says that I'm pregnant. So this is my senior year. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do? Like, what? Like, so I call my boyfriend, and I'm like, hey, call me when you get home. He took forever to call me back. Oh my God, it was like crazy. But that's because I had something to tell him. So it was just like, oh my God, are you there yet? Are you there yet? Are you home yet? So long story short, we decided, you know, like, okay, like, we're having a baby. So, which also meant that I had to sacrifice and leave school, because you can't live on campus and be pregnant at the school that I was at. So I'm like, damn, like, all right. So then I'm thinking like, all right, well, maybe I'll just stay at school. Like, I'll stay here as long as I can. Girl, when I tell you, I was so sick. Like, I was so sick, and I just couldn't stay at school. Meanwhile, like, the whole time, like, I was at school, my major was mass communications, which is also like a part of God's timing, because I never would have majored in mass comm, but it was just like, yeah, no, this is what I like to do. Like, it came a time where I just had to, like, I was one of those people who like wanted to do things that like my parents wanted me to do, or things that sounded good for my parents to brag about. And you know what I mean? Like, because that's just, I don't know, that's the pressure that I was under. Not really like with my parents, but just like with my family in general. So, but my mom has always been a, you know, do what makes you happy. You don't have to go to college. You don't have to, you know, you do what makes you happy. But I always knew that I wanted to do YouTube, and I always knew that I wanted to have a hair company. Like, I have it written in my journal from 2014, like, that's what I wanted to do. Like, I always wanted to sell hair. I always wanted to have a storefront boutique where you can come and buy hair, and you could buy your clothes. I knew that for sure. I knew I wanted to do YouTube for sure. Like, I just always wanted to do YouTube, but I just always second guessed myself, and I was just like, you know what, I don't have the right equipment, and you know, I don't really know how to edit that well. But which goes into me being a mass comm major, all part of God's plan. Now I can edit literally on any software. So I dropped out of school to have my baby. I actually had my son on my graduation day. Crazy. So yeah, so after I had my son, I would say that like I got really caught up in like, okay, I have to like go to work, take care of my son, go to work, take care of my son. It was just like I couldn't even like imagine not having an actual job, like a 9-to-5 job, where I was just like, okay, I know that I'll be able to take care of my son. The whole time, like, ugh, it's just like, if I knew then what I knew now, oh my God, I probably would never work that job. But you know, it's all part of the process. So I was always telling my boyfriend, like, you know, like, I want to do YouTube, but like I just don't have the equipment, and you know, yada yada yada. So I bought myself a ring light, and then for Christmas of 2018, my boyfriend bought me a camera. So I'm like, okay, so now I like really have to do this, because you know, like when people invest in me, I don't like to let them waste their money. So once he bought me that camera, I'm like, okay, yeah, like I really have to like make something happen with this. So now I was working part-time at that job, so I was like staying home a lot to record, and you know, I just hated the job. Like I hated the job. Like I had a very racist manager towards the end, and I just didn't like it. Like I hated being there at some point, and yeah, it just was like, okay, this just isn't for me. So me working part-time and like staying home to like do like little YouTube stuff really was just like my escape from, you know, from work, which also meant that like I wasn't really getting hours at my job. When I tell you, yo, like I feel like the entire time I was working there, I was struggling. Like I was making what, like $12 an hour, $12.45 an hour, something like that. Like I was struggling. And like for some people, you know, they can live off of that kind of salary because they don't have as much, like, you know, I'm not gonna say I had a lot of responsibility, because my boyfriend did pay majority of the bills. So I didn't have, you know, that much responsibility, but it was just like, you know, like I was trying to invest in myself and, you know, make something happen. And meanwhile, like I still had to put all my time and effort and like mentally be at my job, which took away from, you know, me building my brand basically. So I had my son. Oh, and I also hated that after I had my son, I had to go back to work like so fast. Like I hated it. Like I wanted to be with my son. I didn't want to have to look for daycares. I didn't want to have to, like, I hated that process. Like it makes me like really sad just like thinking about it, because I'm just like, I could have spent so much more time with my son. I was breastfeeding him, and it just was like, oh my God, it was so much, like taking my breast pump to work and pumping at work and freezing the milk, and it was just so much. And I was just like, you know what, I told myself, I'm like, my next time having a baby, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. Like I'm gonna be working from home by the time I have my next baby. I'm not gonna let any company or anyone else tell me how much time I get to spend with my kids. If my kid is sick, I'm not gonna have to ask anybody if I can stay home to watch my kid, if I can stay home to take care of my child. I'm not going to be like scared that I'm going to not have any kind of income if I choose to take care of my son while he's sick. Like that's ridiculous. And that's the situation that I was in. So I told myself, like, my next baby, I'm going to be working for myself. Like I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. Like I'm gonna be doing my YouTube stuff and whatever else kind of like comes along with it. I'm gonna be doing my hair stuff, like, because that's what I'm passionate about. So, you know, that's what it's gonna be. First of all, like I knew that 2020 was going to be the year for me. Like I just knew it. Like I felt it. Like when I would be at church, like we would be like talking about 2020 and just talking about, you know, like just the different things. And, you know, I know that it's a pandemic and, you know, there's a lot of bad stuff going on in the world, horrible things going on in the world, but 2020 has genuinely 100% been my year, and I knew that it was going to be my year from literally the moment that it started. So January 2020, God dropped it in my head, like, you know, you need to be serious about losing your weight. Like you want to lose weight. The fact that I was so big was preventing me from doing a lot of things I wanted to do on YouTube, because I just wasn't comfortable with myself. I wasn't confident. Like being big like took away a lot of my confidence. So God was like, you know what, you're gonna lose this weight, like, and I'm gonna be beside you every step of the way. And he, oh my God, I'm about to cry. Whoo. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry y'all, I really don't mean to be like crying, but it's like when I think about, I'm sorry y'all, I really don't mean to be like crying, but it's like when I think about, you know, how good God has been to me and how he has literally kept every promise that he has ever made me, you know, I get emotional, because it's just like, it's so crazy. Like it's just so crazy. I remember as a kid, you know, you hear people talk about, you know, oh, God is good and blah blah blah, but it's just like you never know like what people go through as to why they feel that way, or like, whew. Anyway, God told me it was time, and you know, he's like, we're going to lose this weight, and you know, you're going to, you know, you're going to succeed, you're going to do well. And I remember this one day, there was a prophet at church, and he took me by my hand, and he's like, I don't know you, and I don't know what you do. Like he literally didn't know me. He literally like didn't know me. He's like, I don't know you or what you do, but I see you with a storefront, driving a white SUV, and I see money coming to you from all angles. I see money coming to you from all angles. And I'm just like, yeah, that's me. Like that's me. Like that's going to be me. And you know, I will never forget that, because it just like, it was just like confirmation for me, because that's literally like my path. Like that's my path. That man didn't know me from anywhere. I could be like a painter for all he knew, you know what I mean? So yeah, so sorry, I keep getting like sidetracked, but these are just things that like go along with the story. So 2000, okay, so I started losing the weight or whatever, and once again I felt God tell me, like, you need to document this. Like, you need to you know, you need to document this. You need to be transparent with people about your journey, because I'm putting you through things so that you could be a testimony to somebody else. And that's why I'm always so transparent with you guys, or transparent with anybody. When I meet people outside of, not even on YouTube, when I meet people in real life, I'm transparent, because it's just like, I know that every experience I go through in life, God puts me through so that I can relay the message to somebody else. I know that for a fact. So that's why I will always be obedient and be transparent with you guys, as transparent as I possibly can, while still, you know, keeping, you know, my personal things personal. So I started making my weight loss videos and posting them on YouTube, and that's how a lot of you guys got here. That's how a lot of my subscribers found my page, were from my weight loss videos. So it was January, and when I tell you I lost this weight so fast, I'm just like, God, like, honestly, like, how am I losing this weight so fast? Like, it was just, yo, oh my God, it was crazy. Like, it was crazy. So then, you know, my subscribers started getting up there. I started getting my checks from YouTube. My checks were looking like good. Like, I was making more money off of YouTube. I was making more money off of YouTube than I was off of my full-time job. And I mean, for the whole entire month. Like, I was making like $800, $900 a month at my job. A month at my job, okay? And my checks from YouTube were coming in like $1,400 back then. I just still wasn't confident in the fact that, like, I could quit my job. I wasn't confident in the fact that I could quit my job yet, because I had only got like 1 or 2 checks from YouTube, and I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be enough to like be consistent and like, but like, looking back, it's just like, girl, you're making more money in a month off of like a couple videos than you are when you're like risking your mental health at this job, putting up with things that like you just don't want to put up with, you know, just having to be quiet about things that like you're passionate about, having to be quiet when people are like saying low-key disrespectful things to you. Like, why are you here? Why are you here? So now it was like the end of January, and I'm telling my friends at work, like, I had really good work friends. Like, I love my work friends so much, because like, we really helped each other get through our days. Like, we all pretty much hated it, and now I think we're actually all not there anymore. So I was telling my work friends, like, y'all, like, I think that I'm gonna do another 6 months here. I'm gonna try to like save as much money as possible. I'm not gonna spend any money. I'm gonna just stay here for 6 months, stack my money, and then I'm out of here. Like, I'm gonna fully pursue my entrepreneurship. Like, I know that I can be doing so much more. I know that my calling is so much more. I know that God is calling me to do so much more. I know that, you know, like, there's more out there for me than this. Like, this is just not it. Like, I hated being there, and God made me so uncomfortable at my job that it was like, because I used to like it there, and then all of a sudden I just got so uncomfortable. Like, God really made me so uncomfortable at that job that it was just like, I had to go. Like, I had to. So I was telling them, like, you know, I'm gonna give it 6 months and then I'm going to leave. Literally a couple weeks later, there was like some kind of flu or something going around, and my son got like really sick, and I thought that he had it. So I took him to the hospital, and I was supposed to go to work, and I took him to the hospital, and basically when I went back to work, they wanted me to like provide all of this stuff, and they're like, or, you know, we'll have to terminate you. So that day, like, something just like came over me, and I was just like, no, it's fine, like, I can go. Like, I'm, you know, I'm good with like the termination. Like, we can just do that, because I'm done here. Like, you know, I'm done here. That day, I didn't even drive to work that day. My car broke down that morning. I took an Uber. My car had a flat tire that morning. I ended up taking an Uber to work. My boyfriend had to call me an Uber because I didn't even have enough money to get into an Uber to get to work, okay? So I was just like, you know, like, no, like, it's okay. Like, I'm just, like, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna head out. So they were pretty much just like, Like, they were flabbergasted. Like, oh, like, okay. So that was it. Normally I feel like when people leave their jobs, or you know, whatever the case is, they're more like, they're like panicking, like, oh my goodness, like, you know, what am I going to do? How am I going to make money? I have a child. How am I going to feed my kid? When I tell you, I left that building and felt so light and just free and just happy. And I knew that that was God telling me, get your stuff and let's go. We're not waiting 6 months. Get your stuff and go. What I say? Yes, Lord. So, I came home. I had already been looking for hair vendors, and literally that night I stayed up super late and I was just looking for vendors, and when I tell you God dropped my vendor in my lap that same night, I mean, he was just like, here you go. Like, it was literally like, he was like, here you go. When I tell you I've been looking high and low for the right vendor, and then like it was just one that just stuck out to me, and I was just like, this is the one. I know this is the one. I ordered the hair. I tested the hair. The hair was beautiful. I had like all this pre-knowledge with like hair vendors and like other vendors that were really, really good. So I put together a vendor list. I had been working on a clothing line also, but like I never, like, I had all these things like that I was like, you know, dabbling into that I didn't take serious because I just didn't have the time to take serious. So then come to find out, I'm like, yo girl, like, you know a lot about like a lot of stuff. So I put together these vendor lists, like, of all these companies that I had like tested out that had good products. Like, so I made the vendor list. So that's how the vendor list came about. They're also on my website right now. So I started selling the vendor list. You know, oh, and this was around income tax time as well. So I'm like, if all else fails, I'll be able to pay my bills for the next couple weeks because, you know, it's income tax time, and I'm gonna use that money and I'm gonna invest that, pay my bills for 2 months. I'm gonna use the rest of the money and I'm gonna invest everything into my businesses. I'm putting everything on the line. That's what we're doing. I know God is beside me. I am not afraid. That's what we're doing, okay? I took the money that I made from the vendor list that I was selling. I made like just off a vendor list alone, I made like $600 the very next day after I left my job. Mind you, my checks from 2 weeks were like $400. I made $600 in a day. That's when I knew. I was just like, yeah girl, you've been playing yourself. Like, you really been, you've been, 1, selling yourself short, 2, playing yourself, and 3, disrespecting yourself by not listening to what God's been telling you to do. But it's all in his timing. So I took that $600 and I got my license from my company. I ordered some more hair to test out, and I registered my LLC. I paid for my website. Also about my website, like, I was trying to, like, I had to like really make this money stretch. So when I was looking for people to make my website, I'm like, everybody wanted like $900, $700, and I'm like, dog, like, I don't have that kind of money. Like, I gotta pay for photo shoots. I gotta get, you know, I gotta do a lot. Like, I gotta pay for photo shoots. I have to get more hair. I gotta get hair in stock. I have to just do a bunch of stuff, and I'm just like, I don't have money for all this. Child, when I tell you, God took my hands and guided them through a computer and taught me how to make my own website. I have no knowledge in making a website, none. Even though mass comm was my major, I never made a website ever. I made that whole website myself in like a week, okay? I'm telling you, my God is good, okay? Like that. I didn't know how to make a website. Like, I had no idea, but it's up there. So I made my own website. I found a photographer that I really, really loved, and we work great together, and that's who I go to now for all my projects. So yeah, all that was settled, and on April 3rd I launched my hairline. Like, that's, you know, that was my first, that's my baby. Like, that's my first baby. Like, yeah, I do hair reviews sometimes for other companies, but like, that's my baby. Like, that's really, even this hair I have now is not my hair. This is a hairline that I'm doing a promotion for. Honestly, from there, everything else just pretty much started like rolling in. But what I will say is I work hard. I work hard, y'all. Like, I mean, I stay up. Like, some nights I don't get sleep. Some nights I don't get up, I don't sleep. I get up, I record for y'all, I go work out, I invest. Like, that's one thing. You have to really want to invest in yourself, because especially if you have no one else to do it for you, no one else believes in you yet, because they will. I mean, because once you start making the money, they're gonna, you know, see that you're serious, and then they'll want to invest in you. But yeah, like, you have to invest in yourself. You have to put in the work. Like, if you put in the work, like, it'll show. Like, it'll show. As my YouTube started growing, I started getting all these emails about sponsorships and, you know, companies that wanted to work with me. My Instagram following started growing tremendously. So as your followers grow, as your subscribers grow, you get more money, not even just off of YouTube, but you just make more money outside of YouTube, in addition to YouTube. That's a whole nother video though. I'll give y'all that if y'all want it. So yeah, you just start making more money, and now it's just like, I swear, like, some days I wake up and I just like forget that I even have certain money coming in, and I check my account, or I get an email notification and it's like, oh, you such a deposit such in your account, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, I forgot this money was even coming. Like, when I tell you, like, God has fulfilled every promise that he has made to me, where, like, I'm not gonna have to worry, not gonna have to struggle, not gonna have any, you know, nothing's gonna hinder me. Like, and that's exactly where I am right now. Not saying that I don't have bad days. I do have bad days, but I know what God promised me. So through any bad day, I'm just like, this is temporary. This is not gonna last. You know, all my needs will be met. I'm never gonna have to worry about, you know, where me and my son are laying our head, where, you know, if I'm going to be able to buy my son clothes, or like, I don't have them type of struggles. I don't have them kind of worries, because God literally takes care of when I tell you he takes care of everything for me, honey. If I told you my personal life right now, and like how strategic God is in lining these things up for me, child, listen. But yeah, so that's pretty much my story on how I became a full-time entrepreneur. I'm gonna finish my makeup and then come back and wrap this video up. All right guys, so I am done with my makeup. That is pretty much the end of this video. What I want you guys to take away from this video, if you're still watching, is that to always do what you're passionate about. Don't settle for the money, what you feel like is stable. Go for what you're passionate about, because as long as you're following what you're passionate about, the money will come. As long as you're being genuine and authentic in who you are, the money will come. As long as, you know, you're putting your faith in whoever you believe in, the money will come. There's a lot of people out there who just want to be able to say they have a business, just want to make money quickly, and nothing is going to come quick, okay? Like, but those are the things that don't last, because you're not passionate about what you're doing. You can only pretend but for so long. So I always say, you know, do something that you're passionate about. The money will follow. Be genuine, be authentic, be true to who you are, stand on what you believe, okay? Don't let nobody you know, talk you into doing something that you know that you're not passionate about. It won't work, trust me. I hope you guys like this video. I hope that it wasn't too like drawn out or too all over the place, because I know like I get sidetracked and like I'm like, oh yeah, and this happened, oh yeah, and then this happened. But like, I hope you guys, you know, got the gist of the story. If you guys have any questions, or you know, you guys like this video, comment below and let me know. Give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this for you guys, so yeah, make sure you're subscribed. Oh, and make sure you follow me on Instagram at k.couture. I will leave the link to my Instagram in the description box. Also the link to the TEAMI blends teas in my description box. yeah, and that's about it, guys. Until next time, stay positive and be blessed.